It is an emerging threat, raising concerns from the U.S. Attorney to the ATF.
They're called ghost guns, privately made firearms without a serial number, purchased without a background check.
In a News 13 exclusive, investigative reporter Jennifer Emmert takes you inside the ATF's firearms vault. She looks at how frequently ghost guns are used in crimes, how they can delay justice, and new changes designed to stop them from being illegally used.
Buy, build, shoot kits require some drilling to complete the firearm. Without a background check, anyone can buy one. While they'll remain legal, the requirements are changing. Here's why. In a coordinated January attack, investigators say Jesse Williams broke into Carolina Guns and Gear with 3 co-conspirators, stealing 34 firearms.
One of those firearms was dropped as one of the defendants was leaving the store, and so that left 33 firearms that were actually stolen.
Within hours, the guns were split up and sold on the streets for cash and drugs. Just 8 of the 33 were recovered.
It's hopeful to us that we'll be able to recover more, especially since those firearms actually did have serial numbers and are going to be able to be traced.
Compare that to 2 other firearms recovered in 2021, one in Hendersonville from a convicted felon, the other seized in a drug trafficking arrest in Buncombe County. Both are ghost guns and untraceable.
Ghost guns are real guns. Ghost guns have been used in a number of violent crimes, to include murders.
U.S. Attorney Dina King explained why these kit-made firearms are turning up at crime scenes across the Carolinas.
For years, there's been no background screening. And so individuals, to include felons, have been able to purchase those firearms. Unfortunately, our district, the Western District of North Carolina, has the top amount of privately made firearms that have been recovered.
So we went.
So you're inside of the vault in ATF's Charlotte Field Division.
To a place few get access.
And this is where we maintain all of our criminal evidence. And mostly what you see here is filled with firearms,
including buy, build, shoot kits or ghost guns.
In the case of the pistols here that you see, these were all purchased in undercover investigations by ATF.
The area of the frame or receiver where a manufacturer is required to add crucial serial numbers on kits are blank.
Typically, the serial number would be right here. Those markings give us the ability to trace that gun. By tracing a firearm, we're finding out who manufactured it, who retail sold it, and who the original purchaser is.
The firearms anonymity is driving up their presence at crime scenes. In 2021, 20,000 ghost gun recoveries were turned over to the ATF nationally. North Carolina ranks in the top 10 states for those recoveries, with a 700% increase in 2021. From Raleigh to Durham to Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and Charlotte, the number recovered is up 5 to 40%. Record requests across mountain law enforcement agencies found unserialized firearms used in Buncombe, Haywood, and Henderson County crimes.
We feel like those numbers are probably underreported because this is still relatively new information.
A federal rule change in April now makes these kits easier to trace. It will require serial numbers be included on the frame or receiver. Sellers must also be licensed, meaning
it would provide that background screening.
Licensed manufacturer Phil Flack agrees serial numbers help investigators with cases.
I think so in one sense, for the law enforcement community.
Still, he says,
the law has always allowed for individuals to manufacture their own firearms.
He worries new rules could impact enthusiasts and hobbyists more than criminals.
If you're going after somebody that's not really a threat, what have you accomplished?
Fearing more often stolen firearms are what ends up in criminals' hands, not kit guns.
Most criminals don't have they don't have Dremel tools and milling machines laying around, so they're going to buy guns off the street that somebody stole the night before and swap them for drugs, and then they're just going to obliterate the serial numbers, thinking it can't ever be traced.
Source data for guns used in crimes is scarce. A Bureau of Justice Statistics survey found the majority were obtained on the black market. But an ATF agent told PBS's Frontline straw purchases have an impact. That's when someone legally buys a firearm for someone who legally can't. The ATF cautions everyone.
Please don't leave them in your car. We've got so many cases where pistols are being stolen out of unlocked cars.
As federal prosecutors crack down on straw purchasers, they also feel requiring serial numbers on kits ensures swift justice for families impacted by gun violence.
These families, we owe it to them for them to have their day in court, for them to have justice on behalf of their loved ones.
The new rule also requires licensed dealers add a serial number to kit-made firearms bought without one, whether that's a kit or printed on a 3D printer. They're also required to keep those records as long as they're licensed. Jennifer Emmert, News 13.